Ask me to talk about Chia pools. Well, let's talk about Chia pools. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified when new videos come out. Your support is so appreciated. Thank you. And thank you so much for the ongoing positive feedback, the really great suggestions for ways to adjust this model and ways to speak more realistically about the potential prospects for Chia farming. Disclaimer, I've been heavily skeptical about the profitability of Chia farming in my recent videos. And frankly, I still kind of am, and I see some problems with the project that I'd like to address in this video. But something I'd like to also come clean on is that, yeah, I could use a less aggressive model for showing the net space growth and look at some projections that maybe aren't so doom and gloom. That said, what you have from me is a commitment to try to tell you the truth as I see it and try to be as honest as I possibly can. Sure, I've got Amazon links in the description of my video, just like everybody else does. I'm not trying to give anybody else a hard time. So if you have found really great support from other content creators, of course you should click on their Amazon links. Of course you should help feed their channels. They're doing this for free like everybody else, or in some cases, we're actually in the hole, right? We're in the red for our participation on YouTube. Be supportive of those people who've helped give you knowledge and educate you even more. They merit that. If you found a bit of value from this content as well, do me a solid and explore some of those links below this video. That said, let's jump into the Chia calculator and try to look at a few scenarios before we talk about pools on Chia. Here we are in ChiaCalculator.com, and we've got a 36 terabyte stake, basically, in the Chia net space already set aside right now. As of today, the current net space is over 10 exabytes, nearing 11 full exabytes. But we're going to go really conservative here and say the average at-home person who's got an air quotes plotting system in their old laptop and is just getting a few hard drives to plug into the available USB ports on an old laptop. Maybe you have 3 12 terabyte drives. Going with that because the price per terabyte is pretty good on the 12 terabyte models. That may be changing right now. It could be that 10 terabytes is better in your market, but I'm just going to say 12. Just very easy to work with that. So 3 of those already fully plotted. And now we're going to go down to the simple tab, and it shows us that we're going to get $734.67 a month. That's oddly specific, but okay. I kid. We all know that these are averages and that with the block reward, you get more than 1 coin per block reward if you're solo mining. But I think where I agree with their approach here is that when you go to the advanced tab, you can see how that breaks down, and you can see that this is the reward over time, which would be a perfect representation if they understood how this pays out in a pool environment, right? Just like how Ethereum mining profit calculators and Monero mining profit calculators and Bitcoin mining profit calculators, they can tell you with pretty good accuracy what your share of the block reward will be if you're contributing to a pool. They've gotten very refined and very good at that. But I think this is going to be a pretty helpful tool as we see more people joining officially recognized pools. Again, more on that later on in the video. But here on the advanced tab, I've gone ahead and just projected that we may hit, say, 40 exabytes. Based on the growth since my first video, that doesn't seem too strange, right? You can think about now, since my first video, think about how I personally witnessed it go 20 times its net space from the first time I looked at it. And maybe you have too, when it was a bit lower than that. But it doesn't seem too strange now to imagine a Chia network that has over 40 exabytes of net space, right? Doesn't seem too weird. 200 may have been too aggressive. So I want to walk that back and go with an even less aggressive endpoint. In the most recent video, I think I said 70. But let's go ahead and chop that almost in half down to 40. And let's work with that for this video. I think even the most optimistic person in the audience should be able to see in their mind the Chia network potentially reaching 40 exabytes. It would be way more than any other hard drive farming or mining coin that's ever come before, but you can imagine it, right? Cool. Let's move forward with that then. Okay, so here we are looking at a fairly steady growth there, but there is stabilized daily growth of 5 petabytes per day because it's unrealistic to presume that it will stay completely static and not changing at all. So we are going to have a slight growth curve there. And then let's just pretend like you already have these plots fully done. We'll start with that projection first. We'll go over the earnings for 6 months. Maybe you have a specific plan in terms of an investment or a business type goal for your own strategy to only hold on to these drives as long as you get paid paid out in the Chia coin and then resell them so you get a bit of whatever the resale value is on top. Maybe that's your strategy for getting in, getting out. Maybe you have a different goal entirely, but we're going to start with 6 months here, okay? And guys, if I haven't already told you, please remember that you're responsible for your own choices, and nothing I say here changes that fact. You got to own up to the things that you do and that you choose. All right, over the next 6 months, if the price of Chia holds exactly the way it is, you're looking at over $1,000 USD in the value of that coin paid out. Again, presupposing that you are on a pool during that time and you're not just solo mining, because with that net space right there, it could be very, very difficult to earn back. And they're not going to adjust that on the simple tab for us to figure out. It could be very, very difficult to earn back if you were fully plotted at the same time that this net space is fully achieved. Now let's go back to 0, which is kind of what we have to do if we aren't already plotting. If we're just starting from scratch, just bringing those hard drives home. So now, again, moving with the 2.5 terabyte per day plotting speed, which, by the way, I've heard from many people in the comments is a fairly realistic projection. There will be some who are faster and there'll be some who are slower. But 2.5 terabytes is really not that bad starting point in terms of modeling out what's realistic for most people. So I'm going to stick with it for these projections as a starting point. Okay, 2.5 terabytes per day. That gets us plotted after a little bit of time and then brings the total over 6 months not that much lower, right? So you're still over 1,000, and it looks like for the hard drives themselves, if all you're doing is bringing home hard drives, that's about the cost of the hard drives. You're breaking even in about 6 months if you're pooling right now, and provided that the value of the coin stays exactly where it is instead of dipping like it did last time you guys told me to plan for exponential growth of the value of the coin, which it couldn't do because no coins ever do that, but it did dip. So presuming it stays exactly the way it is and that the net space doesn't grow anymore, then this could be what you earn. Maybe over 6 months, possibly. If you're starting today, just getting hard drives, maybe. And then over the course of a year, it does look better. But again, this presupposes that the value of the coin over the next year, after it's anticipated that this bull run will end and there will be a massive market correction, it presupposes that the coin will not change in value at all between now and then. I don't know. I've got my doubts, guys, and I've expressed that in other videos. I don't believe that we're going to see the $1,600 or the $2,000 or the $5,000 Chia coin after this market. I think if we're ever going to see that for the next little while, it may be at some point during this bull run, after which it corrects, and we see something a lot closer to the price it is right now, and maybe even lower. Don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not offering technical analysis. Again, you own your own choices. You do your own technical analysis. You figure out the sentiment of the market as it relates to hard drive mining and whether it's decentralized, centralized, etc. You do all that work and you figure it out. But my gut tells me that we're going to see a correction at the end of this bull market where a lot of coins go back to where they are at this moment or lower. Right? Not above where they are as of today, May 25th, 2021. That's my big disclaimer there, guys. But looking back here, if we go for the 1 year, if it does continue on its current value, then you're looking at over $2,000 for that year. But, and this is a big but, it's probably going to go lower. Real talk. I'm going to do a projection where we dip down to only $500, not too intense a dip. It's not a 90% drop from where it is right now, which we've seen other coins do when they correct, especially if they're fairly new. So it could get worse. But $500 per coin means that after 1 full year, you're earning back what those hard drives cost you and having to pay down your power bill too, right? Which they're not totally free to run. That could be $5 or $10 of power in a month for those 3 hard drives. Maybe more. I don't know. Depends on where you live, right? So still looking at over $1,000 for the cost of those hard drives, just hard drives alone. And it's going to take you a year to earn that back if the price dips and you have to hold for a long period of time. That said, if the price happens to go up in the next 6 months during the bull run, go ahead and bring that way back up to its all-time high. Then you're looking at making back your investment during the bull run, maybe, and being able to sell off those hard drives or use them for some other purpose after that point. If you cut bait right then and don't hold the coins, you actually sell some of those coins, like actually liquidate them before there's a market correction. Or you just pray that this is the price that it corrects to. I'm not going to tell you how to invest, and I'm not going to tell you who to pray to, but it would take an act of divinity to preserve its all-time high as the post-bull market corrected price. I'm far more convinced that something like this is likely, right? So for the next 6 months, if you only plot it up to that point and then just retain those coins, I don't think you're quite going to make it. And guys, these are based on what I think are more conservative values, right? Of 40 exabyte net space on Chia. Just wanted to bring this back to you guys because I think this is a far more realistic viewpoint on potential growth. And again, they're just starting points. You tell me though in the comment section, is this a little closer to your expectations for the total net space of Chia? Is that a little more realistic in terms of the amount of hard drive space that most people have? Because you realize that the investment and the amount of hard drive space that you bring to the network, they grow linearly, right? There's not an exponential thing there where like the more hard drive space, the less it costs you. Nope. In these markets, if you want 12 terabyte hard drives, you got to go pay just like everybody else. If you want them brand new, like a lot of people are telling you to do, get them brand new so you have a warranty and you're okay if something breaks. Sure. All right. I guess. No, your cost is going to go up. Every terabyte, every 10 terabytes, every petabyte that you add to the network, your costs go up. And so the amount that you have to earn goes up too. And that is linear. So this math just scales right up. Data zero to the end, right? To all those numbers. But let's talk about pools. I've got a huge concern with Chia in terms of pooling. And this is why. We're going to start with H pool. All right. Home sweet home. I don't really read Chinese, so I don't know if there are regional differences between Cantonese and Mandarin. It's just all written Chinese, right? It's really more in the spoken language, whatever. Guys, the point is I don't actually read this and I have to change it over to English before I can even do that. I'm not using an Asian VPN. I don't know why they would think I need to read in Chinese. So anyway, Chia is where they're making their big money right now. Apparently somebody else has mentioned in the comment section, tried to spam the crap out of this before, but there are other competing hard drive pool systems here. But Chia, let's see, the mining difficulty right now, apparently our calculator is wrong. Chia calculator is wrong. It's 10.8, or maybe it's just not updated yet. You can usually trust a pool to have a little bit better sense of what the net space and the net competition is. So there's the difficulty, and their proportion of it is over 5 exabytes. Bruh. It wasn't even 5 exabytes when I shared with you my first observations, guys. This is a lot for one centralized pool that asks you for your seed phrase in China to have. Do I really need to say it, guys? Do I really need to talk about this? I'm starting to feel like I actually am like a surrogate uncle to some of you dudes. Like, I'm not going to make it weird, but really? Really? This is what cryptocurrency stands for to you? This is what it means to you? Is to centralize the security of a given coin into the hands of one pool operator who possibly even has extremely different political viewpoints from you? I'm not going to do any kind of like xenophobia here, right? That's not my point. I'm just going to say I would much rather see that security spread out across the world instead of centralized into one operator's hands there. That's probably my least favorite place in the world to support with security of a coin. Anyway, for me, the official pooling protocol can't come fast enough, and I would love to do a follow-up video after that happens. I don't want to be engaged in clickbait too much, guys. I really, really don't. And I don't want you to think that this is like a cheap attention grab. I just wanted to follow up because people have been asking about updates in the comment section. Expect for my next video to be some kind of a comparison between projects that compete for hard drive resources as opposed to something that is more specifically focused on Chia. Appreciate your attention. Appreciate you so much for being so supportive. And again, offering wonderful constructive criticism in the comment section. What did I miss? What should I add? What project should I compare to Chia? It's kind of a unique thing, right? But you let me know down in the comment section, guys. Really appreciate you being here. You know I love your face. Please remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.